I was your age, I used to do it for 2 hours every day until I taught myself how to tap. And then I used to tap like crazy because I loved it. And the music would go on.
Allan, I want to thank you so much for being here and coming to visit the Teenage Drama Workshop.
Oh, it's always a pleasure for me to be here, especially with this lovely young man. We just practiced the time step, didn't we?
What was your first question you wanted to ask him?
I just wanted to know where you're from.
Oh, I'm from the Bronx in New York City. And I used to talk like this here. Then I had to go and learn how to talk English. So I could do Shakespeare.
When did you start acting?
Let's see, I started acting in a school play called Rumpelstiltskin. I was 11 years old, and my teacher was Miss Steigman, and she read Julius Caesar to the class, and the class started making all kinds of noises. So she said, I'm going to stop. I said, will you read it to me after school? And she said yes, and she read the whole play to me, and then she put me in all the end-term plays.
Wow.
And so I did Rumpelstiltskin, and I did the Magic Ruby, and then I did the Mikado, and I still remember it. As someday it may happen that a victim must be found. I've got a little list of society offenders who might well be underground, and who never would be missed. There's the pestilential nuisances who write for autographs, and people who have flabby hands and irritating laughs, all children who are up in dates and floor you with them flat, and people who, in shaking hands, shake hands with you like that. So this is my 67th year as an actor.
Wow.
And I've done, I don't know, 73 movies and 200 TV shows or something like that. So I hope you'll have the same kind of career that I have.
Have you been in like any musicals?
Yes, I was in Of Thee I Sing, Baby, Summer, Autumn, Winter, Spring, Baby, etc. But I also like doing straight plays. I've done a lot of Shakespeare and things like that, which I hope I'll help you with too.
What is We Care About Kids?
We Care About Kids is a 501c3 company, and we make short live-action films for children on prejudice, on driving under the influence, and now we're making one called In the Room. It's about child abuse. There are 3 million abuse cases reported, but maybe 45 million unreported.
Wow.
Because nobody's going to call up and say, hello, I just abused my kid.
Yeah. Did you create We Care About Kids?
One of my students helped create We Care About Kids because he suffered from Tourette's syndrome. And I was training him, and I said, human beings can change on a dime like this. If you're yelling at your wife and screaming at her and saying, stop it, I can't stand it anymore. And the phone rings, you say, hello, how are you? Oh, can I call you back? Yeah, I'll tell you in a few minutes. Come on. And you should go to heck. You know, and so he says, why didn't you write a screenplay about that? So I finally wrote it, and he said, I'll produce it. He came back a month later with $15,000.
Wow.
And we produced it. It's called The Little Tailor's Christmas Story.
Why do you think it is so important, especially for kids, to be in the arts and part of the, in theater and acting and singing and stuff?
I'll answer that question. The famous Harold Clurman said once, the artists, people who are in the arts, have more possibilities of staying human, and people who are not in the arts very often don't have the educational qualities of the ones who are in the arts, because in the arts you have to think out of the box. You have to think conceptually. You have to create a character. If you're a painter, you have to create your own world. If you're a musician, you have to create all kinds of music, and it gives you the intelligence flows. But when people are just what we call normal, without insight, without understanding what other people feel, like my philosophy is empathy and 3 words: don't cause pain, which takes in all the 10 commandments and the understanding of how the human being functions. If he doesn't keep developing his mind, he becomes more of an animal, and he does many, many destructive things, which has come to roost now in the world.
Yeah. Josh, do you have one final question for Allan?
Do you have any advice to give me to be a good actor like you?
Yes, I can give you some very good advice about how to be an actor. An actor functions because the little man in Ohio who watches the screen and sees you up there, he says to his wife, you know, that's just like me. And he recognizes that whatever pain you're feeling in the play, or whatever you're doing in the play, he feels the same way, and he doesn't feel quite alone. Do you understand? So you're helping the whole human race in what you're doing up there. And the better you do it, and the closer you get to convincing the audience that what you're doing is real, that's the key. So it's kind of a creative lie, because you're not Richard III, but you have to convince the audience that you are. Just like a good lawyer convinces the jury that his client is innocent.
Allan, I want to thank you so much for coming in and taking this time with Josh and being a part of the Teenage Drama Workshop.
To influence young people in what's going on in the world is the best thing I do with my time.
And does We Care About Kids, do they also help out with scholarships for kids like Josh? Is that how Josh got his scholarship?
We did that last year from We Care About Kids. And I teach here about 15 times a year, right? Because the kids use my book.
I was in that acting class,
You were good. Okay, you got a signed book then.
I did.
Right, very good. So now I'm going to sign one for Josh.
Thank you.
So I thank you for allowing me to be helpful to you.
I thank you for allowing me to have this wonderful opportunity.
Well, it's a big pleasure for me.
Hey.